lovely, incredible people. It is Michael Bonner here. This is not Conversations Unleashed. This is a brand new series called Always Anonymous, which is under the umbrella of Conversations Unleashed. I am so excited to bring this to you. This concept has been in my mind, everyone, for at least 3 to 4 years, because I wanted to curate a space where people can say what they want to say, how they feel, and they can do it in private, right? In the privacy and in the comfort of knowing that it won't go anywhere. Always Anonymous is a concept where you will send in a voice note. The voice note, everyone, will go to me. I would therefore use technology to describe and hide your voice. There will be paperwork sent to you that we both will sign to protect your identity. And you get to tell me any problems that's going on at your job, what's happening in your relationship, what's going on professionally, how are you in life? And what happens is we get to react to it. And it is a cool way because Conversations Unleashed, the subtitle of my podcast, is called Rising Together. And with this one, it's going to really help us learn that you're not the only one going through something, that there are other people dealing with very similar issues just like you. But the goal of this is to hear about the different stories of people and see, can we find a unique perspective to land on and to give good advice from. So I'm excited. I'm about to play the very first one. This episode, I'm so happy. Of course, it's going to get better. Please excuse where I'm recording it right now because I'm in a hotel room. We had some technical difficulties, but you know me. We're going to get the job done every single time. So I hope you're having an incredible Wednesday. Let's get into this first episode of Always Anonymous. We have our first caller for this year, and let's see what they had to say in regards to life or what problems they bring up. So let's go.
I would say a professional struggle I have is trust. Too many times I find myself trying to do a job that most likely is something I could delegate, but instead I take ownership and I do it myself because I don't trust that someone will be able to do the job in the way I want it done or in the time that I want it done. And then I overload myself in doing the details and doing every little bit of something that, like I said, could easily have probably been delegated. But too many times that trust has been broken when I have delegated and then something's gone wrong and then I just have to redo it myself. But somehow I have to learn and work through that leadership style of delegation and knowing that there are people that you can trust or just lead them in a way that they can learn to do the items that are being delegated to them and let them know that expectation and what it needs to look like and what that finished product needs to be.
First off, can we just clap it up for our first caller, right? For being brave enough to participate in this. And listen, if you want to participate, please send your 60 to 90 second voice note to mbonner54@gmail.com. We would love to have your story, your question, your thought, or whatever's going on inside of your world. So one of the things that this caller really highlighted was they can't trust nobody. They can't lead properly and effectively because when they trust somebody and give someone something, they can't get the job done, right? And the first thing that came to my mind is this, everyone, results. And let me tell you why results came to my mind. Because I found out a lot of times in life, we're putting major projects or we're trusting people, right, that haven't proven themselves first. Now, I'm not saying this caller has not went through that process, but what I'm thinking in my mind is when I'm a leader and I have a job, I'm looking for the person who I know can get the job done. Because when people have fruit that they can do something, it makes it a little bit easier. Here's a good example. I was listening to someone talk about their relationship, and the person clearly, right, was not a good communicator, etc. And they had a lot of bad characteristics. They didn't have any fruit. And Darius Daniels, a pastor, once said that it's tough to have a good relationship with a bad pick. Let that sink in. It's tough to have a good relationship with a bad pick. So when you're talking about trusting someone to get the job done, it's hard to trust someone to get the job done and delegate a task when you've picked a bad person from the get-go, right? So I'm sure this leader probably picked a good pick. So even if results isn't the first thing, looking for fruit first, the second thing, here's 3 things I would do, right? If I'm giving something to someone to make sure they're not fulfilling the task, how would I redraw my game plan? Number one, I'm going to have direct communication with them, right? One of the friends, this young lady I know, calls it authentic honesty or brutal honesty or some term that millennials have created. But basically, you're being completely honest with people about what it is with love and being gentle. So therefore, they cannot have the excuse of, you didn't tell me that. Because we know people will do that. So not only would I communicate verbally, I will communicate via documentation. Because we know people are slick, right? That's that work from home crew sometimes. Some of them, they try to be lazy, right? So I will communicate, what is it that I'm aiming for? What am I looking for? And communication is just simply just letting the layout of, this is what I'm expecting from you. Communication and expectations, they go together to me. They're like cousins. Expectations are the boundaries you set into place to let them know, this is the job that I need to be done. This is how I want it done. And this is how far you can go. Here's a good example. At Ron Clark Academy, we teach in front of adults and strangers 90% of the year. I don't know how I do it, y'all. I have no idea. But Ron Clark and Kim Bearden say that they don't want us to break the wall, which means they don't want us, when teachers come in, spending time talking to the teachers. No, they're there to watch you teach. That's that communication and boundary piece. Now, what has happened is, because they have directly communicated that and they've laid out those expectations, if I buck against that, that's on me. And I have to eat the consequence that comes with that, because my leaders have set out what it is. So to the caller, don't be afraid to, one, pick a good pick, which I know you will, but two, lay out what your expectations are going to be and set your expectations to the level of excellence that you're trying to get to. That's just what that is. But last but not least, you heard me talk about it before, everyone, your systems. What's going to be your systems to make sure that the people that you delegate to, they're getting the job done? Are you following up with them bi-weekly, per week? Are you following up with them on every Tuesday at 3:00 with the email that's a reminder in your email to ensure they're on top of it? I think if you can find some type of structure in how you delegate your task, things will be so much easier. And don't feel bad, caller. Every great leader I've worked for, I've had 16 principals in my 13 years of teaching. I've had 2 different agents with premier speakers. I've worked with tons of corporations. The best leaders and partnerships I've had, business partnerships I've had, are those that communicate directly what they want. They lay out their expectations off the rip, and they have a system that is checking me and keeping me accountable, right? The best way I can say this, for example, I have a new partnership with NutriBrain. Shout out to God. Shout out to y'all. Make sure y'all support that when you see it on my socials. To the caller, they have laid out what their campaign is about, communicated it. They've laid out their expectations, what the video should look like, how it should look, what they want the script, what words to avoid, what images you can use, the time frame it needs to be turned in, the rough draft, etc. They went through it all, and they have a whole system, which is dates on when they're checking in to see where I'm at. That is how you effectively delegate something, and that is how you don't feel guilty about delegating it, because you as a leader, you got to get the job done. So y'all, this knocks out our first Always Anonymous podcast. Ooh, I can't wait. Listen, if you have some juicy things to tell me, some great things that's going on, some little bit of drama, some excitement, something that you're nervous about, a breakup, whatever the case may be, hey, listen, come on and drop into Always Anonymous so we can chat about it in a very quick and short format. And you know that I love you. Remember, send all of the voice notes to mbonner54@gmail.com. I love you, and don't forget, legacy over likes. Peace.